All right. I'll have Caden introduce the. So, as he's coming up, to all the youth, I am going to give everybody a index card. Um, and on that index card, I need at least two to three questions, but at least two questions that you want to ask these panelists. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk by with that box. Y'all drop it in the box. Don't put your name on there. We want these questions to be anonymous, and then they'll answer those questions later on in the process. But ask whatever you want. It's anonymous. That's why we're putting it in the box. We ain't gonna keep track of who dropped what, when, and where. I'm gonna shake it up. So I'm gonna hand out these index cards and the pen. So while he's introducing them and they're introducing themselves, I need you all to write at least two questions. You can write more, but I need at least two questions from everybody so we can put in the box. All right, thank you.
Okay, so our first panelist is going to be Miss Ashley Johnson. She is a U.S. Army veteran, a nonprofit founder, and a certified John Maxwell speaker, trainer, and coach. Her own pivot from earning her GED in 2006 to now pursuing her education specialist degree in educational leadership at Liberty University to building a nonprofit serving adult learners across Alabama fuels message of purpose after obstacles. She is the founder and executive director of the Pivot Path, author of Pivot Point, 7 Steps to Pivot Following, Obstacles to Create a Purposeful Life, and the 2026 to 2027 COABE State Advocate for Adult Education for Alabama. Ashley brings a faith-forward, story-driven style to audiences ranging from corporate leadership teams to community and nonprofit gatherings. So y'all give her a hand. No problem. Now, our next panelist will be Minister Jay Lucas. He's young and he was our keynote speaker last year. So I know that he is he's a heavy hitter for his age. He's about you guys' age. So he's going to come to you from the high school experience and give you keynote on that incidents and stuff like that. Also, we have our very own Miss Gabby Jackson. She's bringing experience from life on the hill. If y'all know A&M, y'all know that it's literally the hill. So she'll be bringing us college experience and how to apply it with your everyday lifestyle. And then our final panelist will be Coach Think, Justin Robinson, who's going to bring us insight from the sports standpoint and also somebody who grew up in this area. So that'll be our panelists. Y'all give them a hand. And while y'all are writing, we just want y'all to be mindful to ask anything. This is going to be a safe space for you all to ask. If the adults, if you all want to participate as well, feel free to jump in. So as y'all are writing, we're going to go ahead and let y'all finish up, and they're going to come and give us a little background in their own wording of where they come from, starting with this side.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I am blessed to get to talk to the youth about my experiences and how God led me down my path. I am a product of Lake Elam Missionary Baptist Church. This is my home church. I grew up right there in the back pew, watching my grandma praise, my great grandma and my grandma praise the Lord on the front row. So it's good to be back in the house.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Minister Jay Lucas. I bring you greetings from Liberty Hill Missionary Baptist Church, where Pastor Jerry K. Humphrey is pastor. I'm blessed to be in the house tonight. I was here last night, and I'm glad to be a part again. I serve in SGA at Hofer High School, and I also serve in the funeral industry as well, so I'm glad to be a part of that.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gabrielle Jackson, but a lot of people call me Gabby. I'm from this area. I grew up in Crenshaw, Alabama, if you guys know where that is, and I am under the leadership of Pastor Gary L. Jackson Sr.
Justin Robinson, aka Coach Think. Now I'm gonna try this again. I'm sorry for starting over, but when we say how you guys doing, can we at least speak back? How you doing? I'll try one more time. How are we doing? Hey guys, today we're here, like I said, to give great insight and have fun. Like we have to understand that right now is the time that we have to be willing and able, those two things, to speak about things, talk about things, so we can grow the kingdom. Our job is to get home. Right now, this is our workplace. So in order for us to get home, we have to be open and have a conversation so we all can get to having a great time. So please tonight, ask questions, engage, and love what we're doing because we love all of you guys. Thank y'all for having me. I'll tell y'all more about me later on.
Give them a hand. So this will be more of a laid back session. We just want to get some questions and things from you all. So we're going to give about 3 more minutes before we start going with the panelists and start questions.
Okay, I'll start. I think you have to come down to that level a little bit. Not saying that y'all are not, but I think as a teenager, having a teenager and being a teenager in church, we were always told to come to church, but never why, right? I think they have to understand that they have a voice for one, and they can't be ashamed to actually voice what they want and voice their opinion. So I think as young people, they all often feel like they just have to sit down and be quiet and listen to the adults. But I think when we give them a chance to actually voice their opinion, voice what they like, come down to their level just a little bit, they will be more open to receive and actually give opinion about what they want.
I would say the same thing come down to a level as to where they would need to be. I wouldn't try to over push them. I wouldn't try to push them into things like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. Let them come as they are in their own way. Let God go before them and to let them be who they need to be. And also, I want to tell y'all as when they, whoever your youth leader is, and when they do like Christmas speeches, all that good stuff, do it. I did it when I was young. I didn't want to do it, but I still did it. Even when I didn't want to go to church, my mom and grandmother, they all pushed me to be in church. And I am who I am today because I had God as the source of my life, and I had my family pushing me forward. So I tell you all, stay on the road and let God be before you.
I want to pick back off what Minister Jay said. I don't like sitting up here. I'm very shy. But when God tells you to do this, or when a leader tells you to do something, you do it. Because in the long run, it's going to help. Also, to the church people out there or the church leaders, listen to what the youth has to say, right? Even though you're asking them, a lot of us don't like to listen to the youth because they're youthful, right? But a youth can be powerful just as an adult. That's all I have to say.
Well, I'm big on saying this. A kid don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So the moment you start to show a kid that you care, they listen. And being an older person, it's important that we teach our kids because if we read the book for what it says, you will see that Christ used teenagers a lot in the word. And a lot of our kids don't even understand that teenagers were used in the Bible, throughout the Bible. And a lot of times when they look at us as adults, the one thing we do, we make ourselves too adultish. And everything that we say must go when it comes to a church. But you got to be careful with that because that same kid that you're training, they're watching you live. So it's going to be hard for me to watch you train me here when I know how you live out there. So it's important that we know as adults that before you ask of a kid, ask yourself, am I doing what the word say do? Because Proverbs 22:6 tell us, train up the child in the way they should go. It didn't say put your own values and your own ways and do all the things. It said you have to train them. And a lot of our kids don't feel like they're being trained. And when they don't feel trained, guess what they do? They train themselves. And then we get the repercussions of what they do versus what we're teaching them to do.
Okay, so have everybody got their questions submitted before we start? Okay, Emery. Okay, so our first question for the panelists is going to be pertaining to the section of identity and purpose. So we'll start from the same side. So, how do you stay confident in your identity in Christ instead of seeking validation from likes, followers, or other people's opinions?
Great question. This is definitely a generation that thrives off the likes, follows, and all that kind of stuff. But I think for me, it was when I chose to believe who God said I was. I was able to walk authentically in who He made me to be, not who others thought I should be, or not who others thought or taught me to be. I was able to be who I knew He made me to be by reading my Bible, by fasting, by praying, but also by being real with myself. I know we grow up and a lot of adults probably tell us we got to be this way, we got to do this way, we got to do this that way. But you have to find your own voice in that. And it wasn't until I found my own voice and my identity in Christ is when I start not chasing likes. You know, sometimes validation, we don't get validation from, you know, okay, I'll take it back a little bit. I grew up in a primarily single parent household, right? My dad wasn't involved like I thought he should be. So I look for validation in other ways in school based on that. And I don't know if anybody in here has that same situation, but it wasn't until I forgave my father for not being who he needed to be in my life. And I clinged on to my heavenly father. And that's when I began to find my authentic identity.
I would like to say before I got called into ministry, I was the type of kid where in school I wanted to be the class clown. I was always the class clown. So every time I got in trouble, and I had a black teacher as well. So every time I got in trouble, she wouldn't call nobody else's parent, but she would call mine. So I asked, why would she call my parent? And I would think to myself, why is she calling at all? Because we the same color. But that still didn't click into my head. So every time I got in trouble, my mom would say, "Okay, talk to me." She was at work. She would, say a lot of things she had no business. But guess what? When I got home, I still took the consequences that I had to, that what I caused. So with that being said, a change had to come. So throughout my that happened 5th grade year through 6th grade year. So a change had to come. And 7th through my 8th grade year, there was a time where a kid came into school and he was out that whole week because he was sick. And all I did was I got up and said, "Hey man," I was trying to catch him on some work that he had missed. So the teacher was over there doing some things like what she was trying to get us for our next assignment. So I stood up and I helped him and I got the job done. So the teacher pulled me out the class and said, "Hey, I would like for you to serve as a peer helper." And I was like, "Peer helper?" And ever since then, I've been getting my blessings. And ever since then, God has changed me and created me to where I am today. And I'm thankful and I'm grateful for that.
I know I'm supposed to be giving the college perspective, but I want to go back to when I was in high school. I've never really been the type to get in trouble in high school, but I always used to find myself following people, peer pressure, temptation. But when I got to college, mama and daddy ain't there for you, so you got to figure out life yourself. All right, so that's reading the Bible, fasting, praying, and you have to sometimes look in the mirror and say, "Man, am I doing the right thing or am I doing the wrong thing?" So I think it's reflecting on your life. Um, if your parents are they in the church, go to church, right? Even if you don't understand, because I didn't understand, but look at me now. So I think uh, just doing what your parents tell you, but also try to figure out what you want to do as well in the church, right? You don't have to you don't have to always follow your parents' lead when it comes to being in the ministry, right? As you see, I ain't a pastor. My dad's a pastor, but I always serve, right? Even if you don't like the ministry, right? I started off as the usher. I ain't like the usher. Now I'm a graphic designer. So you got to figure out what you want to do, and I think that's when it comes with identity. So yeah, thank you.
I say stop letting the crowd tell you what only your purpose can. I'm gonna say it again. Stop letting the crowd around you tell you what only your purpose can. Because when you think about social media, what do you see? You see reels, you see highlights, you see quick moments, right? So those things are just something that come and then they go. So when you're looking at who you are, meaning your identity, if it's in someone else's likes, then that means you're not liking yourself. I literally can like my own post by myself. When I started figuring out my identity, young men and young women and older women and older young men, when I started figuring out my identity myself, it literally came from me liking me. We can't get likes from other people and then feel like we're gonna like ourselves. Because if they like it, then that's their like. And you don't want to find yourself waking up every single day trying to please someone else because now you're missing sleep. Now you're tired. And when you guys go through this thing, thank you, sir. When you guys go through this in your life, if someone have to like your post for you to think they like you, they don't like you no way. So you have to understand who you are and whose you are every single day.
Okay, so now we're going to get a little feedback from anybody who wants to ask questions pertaining to the identity portion.
As Coach was saying, once you understand you and understand how God want to use you, you stop trying to be everybody else because that person already taken. And so once you understand your identity, for me, so once I understand how God want to use me, now I focus on that area, how God want to use me, how God want to grow me. That opened up so many doors for you. But I want to let the youth know it's okay to be you. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have bad habits as long as you grow from those bad habits. Amen.
I want to say something. Once you find your identity, that's when you know who your real friends are, right? First of all, your friend circle shouldn't be that big. It shouldn't look like a pool size. It also almost should look like a dot, right? And if every friend around you is telling you yes every time, that ain't your real friend. I just wanted to say that, okay?
To add to that, always remember this too. When you look at your friends, I'm still learning this now. When you really look at your friends, I want you to ask yourself this question. Is what we're doing together, can it cause any one of us harm? Can this hurt us? Like I'm gonna analyze everything one of my friends do. If they always talking about somebody, I'm gonna start weighing the options out. If we continue to talk about somebody, what happens? If they bully somebody, I'm gonna analyze that. If we're bullying and talking about this kid, what can happen? What are the goods that can come from this? And what are the bads? And it's a simple thing. When it outweighs it, listen, because it's showing you. Look, because it's showing you. And I refuse to hang around a person that don't mind causing harm to me or them because they can't care about neither one of us. So be careful when you have your friends and be careful when your friends are sitting here doing things because of what you guys are doing together. If it can hurt you, they don't care about you. I can assure you that.
I want to pick off what he said. Around your friends, if your friends is doing something, eventually you're going to start doing it because it's in your spirit and you're seeing it 24/7. So that's another thing. Be careful who your friends are. If they're gossiping, eventually you're going to, I don't care if you say you don't gossip, eventually you're going to stop gossiping. If you're saying bad words, eventually you're going to start saying it, and it might cost you at home. So
I want to add something there too. Don't be afraid to be alone. Like, don't be afraid to be your own friend. I think most times we want to be with a crowd, we want to feel accepted, but accept yourself and don't feel like you have to be with the crowd to be who God called you to be.
I want to pick up on that. I heard a song that said, "Everybody that smile in your face, they ain't your friend." And I always heard this thing that always picked in my head that when you whoever your friends are, they doing bad things like talking about folks, always fighting, drama, all that crap. I always heard that you are who you hang around. And my folks always told me be the source, be the leader of the group. And I got friends now that like me, I'm a minister. I got a friend that play drums. I got a friend that play the piano. I got a friend that play the piano. And I had some friends that fell short because they didn't want to do the will, and they fell short because of how they grew up. They grew up out of church, and they fell out of church. But guess what? That's on them. I'm still going to shine for the Lord. Y'all still going to shine for the Lord as well because y'all are in church now. There's some people your age that's not in church. They not even thinking about church. But what can you do to bring them in church is my question to you.
And I just want so growing up, there used to be neighborhood fights and things like that. This neighborhood versus this neighborhood. As I grew up, especially getting into junior high, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, and my friends knew that I wasn't about that life. The people in the other neighborhood knew that I wasn't about that life. I was just who I was. They know I'm not fighting. I'm here to go to school and to play sports. And nobody on either side would get angry at me. I could go back to the neighborhood and they'll still be cool with me because I didn't put on an act as if I was a tough guy or something like that. I was just being me. Same with the people from the other neighborhood. If my neighborhood got in a fight with somebody from Smiley Court, the neighborhood fight, they still shaking my hand, speaking to me, talking to me. Nobody got mad at me because they knew who I was and I knew who I was. Now, I say that to say this. I was being who I was. Everybody accepted me for who I was. But in 9th grade, I can tell y'all, it plays back in my mind all the time. Because I was like, when did I get lost? When did I get lost? As I was in the midst of being lost. Like, when did I get lost? And I'm going to tell y'all where it started. And you think it's something small, but that's really where it started with me. I was in 9th grade, and it was after a wrestling tournament. We was all hanging out in the gym talking, and people just doing everything. And my cousin, god cousin, she was like, "Hey Justin, aren't you a Christian?" And my answer was yeah, I'm a Christian. And you like, hold on, you said yeah. But it was the way I said it. I tried to say it to act cool for everybody around me and not just say, yes, I am a Christian. And that's when I started living for the approval of others. That small moment right there. And it took me 25 years to get out of that moment right there, y'all. And I say that to tell you, you may think it's a small concession, but that's all the devil needs is a foothold. And when he get that small concession from you and get his foothold into you, it'll take you to places that you never want to be at. So I say that to y'all to say, don't make even the smallest concession of being who you are. Keep being who you are, and people appreciate that, and they accept you for who you are. Don't try to be somebody you're not. Because for 25 years, I started being somebody that I wasn't. I was acting. I changed my identity. I wasn't Justin no more. I was JB. Literally. Don't call me Justin, I'm JB. But that wasn't me. But that all started from that one concession, y'all. That's all I say.
Those are some great responses. because you have to be mindful, and that's what the spirit of discernment is for you to understand what to approach and what not to approach. So that was very good feedback for the first round. So now we're going to go to the portion with dating and relationships, and after this portion, we're going to go in the anonymous box and we're going to pull some questions. So after that, I just want y'all to be prepared. So the dating and relationships portion would be, how do young believers honor God while dating in today's culture? And we'll start with this side this time.
The way you honor God is by knowing who He is. That's the first part. And a lot of the times, kids, I want you to know this. You may have a best friend, right? You may have that person you can call, you can talk to. Y'all call each other all day long. Y'all stay on the phone, right? And then you hang up with that person, and then that person can go call from another phone. Make sure you hear what I'm saying right here. Your friend can call you from another phone that you never have ever seen cross your phone line. And the moment you answer that phone, the first thing you say is, "Who phone this is?" But the only reason you can say that is because you know the voice of your friend. So when dating someone, the first voice you must know is the voice of God. Because He'll give you that spirit of discernment if that person is not for you. So if you're a believer of Christ, when you believe, your first relationship is with God. So that any person that you connect yourself to, He'll tell you, hey, be careful with them. Hey, pay attention to how she's moving, or pay attention to how he talk. Pay attention to the way he act. If his pants below his legs, pay attention to that. Do not ignore the signs that are clear. Too often times, kids, we push away the signs that we know are no good for who we are. But if you know who you are in Christ first, your spirit of discernment will guide you through any relationship that you deal with a single person, and it will help with your dating because Christ is still at the head of it. And last thing I'm going to say is this. Everything in this world is a partnership. Like when you deal with a person, your partner should be able to use you, and you should be able to use them. I'm going to say that again, because when I say that, most of the time people miss that. I should be able to use you if you're my partner, and you should be able to use me if I'm your partner, meaning we should get better together. There are going to be tough times, absolutely. But if we're getting better together, we're using one another to get better, we know that's a proving fact that God is in it.
I want to say you got to know God's voice, what He said, because the devil could try to sound like God, and you can get confused with it. So if y'all ever seen on a TV show or something like that, they'll have a little person on this shoulder and the other person on this shoulder. One could be God and the other can be the devil, right? So when you think God's not talking, that's when the devil try to sneak in and try to sound like God. And I also want to say this is another thing, unequally yoked. That's another thing. I'm not going to try to break it all the way down, but if you're on a Christian journey and somebody's not on their Christian journey, everybody got to start somewhere on their Christian journey, right? But if you say you go to church and they were like, they look at you funny, leave them alone. If you saying, yeah, I'm going to serve here, I'm going out in the community, I don't want to do that, leave them alone. They need to be where they at. That's all I'm saying.
And I want to say this, in our generation today, and I'm talking about our generation as the youth, the devil has destroyed a lot of our youth and a lot of the people that's our age, and 13 up, 17 up, has destroyed a lot of us. But I want to tell you that whoever you have a relationship with, your relationship shouldn't be about drama, mess, or it shouldn't be about things you're trying to set up somebody that it can lead you down the road, down the path that you shouldn't want to take. So I'm here to tell you that you always keep God first. And whoever you have a relationship with, always keep God first. Even when things ain't going good, start having a talk with your friend to try to encourage them. They will encourage you to try to make them better. Things always don't go easy. but what can you do to overcome your fears, to overcome the obstacles?
What I would say, you have to make sure you have boundaries. You have to make sure that you set values and values for yourself. You got to make sure that you know what you will do and how far you will go, and how far you won't go. That's a big thing. I know social media tries to hype up relationships and relationship goals, but you never. What I've learned, I'm 38, I'm divorced, and I'm in my single season, living and dating how God wants me to date. And we have to make sure we keep that in the forefront. We have to make sure that if we're dating someone, we're talking to someone, we're in friendship with someone, we have to make sure that person is leading us closer to God, not further away from Him. Y'all are in church. Y'all have great parents, I'm sure. I'm teaching you the Bible. You're learning the Bible for yourself. You know what's godly and what's not godly. So we have to make sure that we are bold enough and strong enough, and we believe in ourselves enough to not go with things that we know we should not be going with, or doing things that we know we should not be doing. As Christian, as believers, and as people that's trying to help people get to Christ, not turn them away.
Can I add one more thing? This is serious too, kids. Pay attention to this. Now, my wife know, and I got somebody in the audience that know me and my wife, but I literally tell my wife this. This may sound weird to most, but I tell my wife, I said, I like you more than I love you. Uh-oh, here you come. But I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to try to watch this perspective. When you first see someone, what do you say? I like them. When I saw my wife, I didn't say, man, I love her. I said, man, I like the way she look. I like the way she talk. I like the way she act. So guess what? We've been together 10 years almost. Come on now, y'all can clap for that one. And I kid you guys not, whether you know this or not, we've never had an argument. Uh-oh, here it comes. We've had disagreements. But it was because when we were liking one another, we understood that communication was key. So kids, when y'all hanging around y'all partners, listen to their words. If every word they say is this thing we call curse word, get away from them, because it's a curse word. I couldn't let her curse me. I was too good for that. And I didn't curse her because she was too good for that. And it still shows to this day that we just good for each other. So remember, because love sometimes take us to crazy places. Trust take us to crazy places. In the book I believe in said, trust no man. Uh-oh, here we go. But I like my wife more than I love my wife. But I do love my wife. But I like her more than I love her. So remember at the beginning of these things that you like a person. That way you can learn, if I really like this person, I can be around them at any given day, any given moment, because I like them. Even if we have a disagreement, I still like you. And conversation matters. So please listen to their words.
So just to piggyback off of what Gabby was saying, unequally yoked, that is important. If you have one spot with one of the significant others are out here going the way that they should, they're active in the community, and then you have the other one who's not willing to get down that level that the other one is on. That's one example of being unequally yoked, because when you walk together with your spouse, you're walking together because Christ bounded you together. It's not, oh, well, I'm walking first, or I'm walking last, or I'm walking second, or I'm walking third. It's more of a walk together. So that's one thing that we have to be mindful of, is that love is a union, that no one should separate. You shouldn't let your best friend tell you, oh, well, girl, you need to leave him alone, or oh boy, you need to leave him alone, whatever the case may be. If you go to prayer with God, and then when that works, because it'll work, prayer always works in your relationships. You just have to know how to approach each other and know how to talk to each other, and that's what Coach Think was saying about the communication part. So we're going to open the floor for any feedback pertaining to the dating and the relationship part at this time.
I think I talk pretty loud. As a person who works with youth in this age group, guys, a lot of times that I hear a lot is the kids saying, I wanted him to like me, or I wanted her to like me. And so what I really want to get through to you guys today is that there is nothing that you can do to make a little boy like you or make a little girl like you, okay? If they like you, they're going to like you for you, just the way you are. You're not going to have to do anything to compromise yourself and your values to make them like you, okay? If they like you just the way you are. You will not have to do anything to make them like you. And if you say no, and that ends the relationship, or the boy didn't want to talk to you anymore, the girl didn't want to talk to you anymore, hey, let the doorknob hit them. Well, the good Lord split them and go on. Because I just want y'all to understand, please, there's nothing that you can do to make somebody like you, okay? And it starts with you, like everybody up here said, it's with you loving yourself, knowing who you are and knowing whose you are. Thank you.
And I want to add on to what she said. If you like a person and they don't like you, and you're constantly still trying your best to get into the shoes, into the game, and it's still not working, can I tell you what it can lead to? It can lead to anxiety, depression can fall. You'll try to do things to yourself that you shouldn't want to do to yourself. But I want to tell you, what if it's meant to be, the Lord, he said, I will make it right. I will make it happen. So if it's meant to be, let God, it's on his time. It ain't your timing. So if it's meant to be, he will make the time. All you got to do is trust him. The Bible said, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. But in all your ways, he shall direct your path.
Just to piggyback off of that, I know that I don't want to make it about gender, but it's a certain scripture that should stick with all of the ladies, is that you present yourself and let a good man find you. So if that guy doesn't care for you like that, and if he's dogging you or whatever the case may be, because I'm going to use our little young language, if y'all don't mind, if he's dogging you, just clock it and go on. That's not meant for you. And that's why it's important for the parents to instill in their children that they are handsome, that they are beautiful, because that goes a long way whether we understand that or not. They know what to respond to when daddy told them that they were beautiful versus being told that they were ugly. So that was a good topic to touch on. Is there any more feedback from the floor?
Can I add one more thing? So I have a teenager. She had to go, but she had to work. But one thing I had to tell her, in these years that you're in school, a lot of people are going to say a lot of things about you that are not true. In relationships and friendships and people who you know, people who you don't know, they're going to make up stuff because maybe they don't know nothing about you. You can't let that get to you to the point where you want to get revenge on someone, because what did the Bible say? The vengeance is mine, said the Lord. So don't get caught up in what people are saying about you, even especially if you know it's not true. But even if it is true, don't get so caught up in trying to get revenge on somebody that you go and do the same thing that they did to you to them. That's all.
I want to pick off what she said. On a college level, revenge, I ain't got time for it. I'm at the age now, if I do something crazy, I can go to jail. I don't have time to be getting revenge for nobody. I let God handle that. Also, oh, I didn't lost my thought. Never mind. No, I lost my thought. But yes, don't get revenge on anybody, because at my age, you can go to jail, and you don't have time for that. Well, I don't have time for it.
Those are important responses. So is there any more feedback from the floor, because before we go to the suggestion box? All righty then, I'm going to shake the box up first. Okay, panelists, this is a good one. How do we know if God is real? If God is real, why do we struggle with mental health problems? Starting from this side this time.
Ooh, yeah, I started on the wrong side. I will piggyback off what Coach says earlier. He said something, when you know the Lord, you know his voice. When you in your word and you're reading, you're fasting, you're praying, you know the voice of the Lord. It can be him speaking to you through a dream, him speaking to you to a person. I know me personally, he speaks to me different when I pray in my dreams. So how I know God is real is, how can he not be real? How can the birds chirp? How can the grass grow? How can we be breathing here and talking today if he wasn't real? You know, I know a lot of people have all their beliefs, false beliefs, but God is God. I mean, how can we prove that he's not God, right?
I would like to say, how do you think you were created? Also, I would like to say that back to what she was saying, that when I pray, I can feel the movement of God, and when I visualize through my prayer, I can feel the movement of God. Even when I start to talk, and when I feel talking back to me, I feel the movement of God. But sometimes there will come a time when you don't believe in God. That's when the devil steps in, and you start hearing more of the devil than what you hear of God. But then that's when I start to pray again and continue to pray until I feel the movement of God into my life. So you have to trust the Lord and trust the plans and the thought that he has for you. Because in Luke he said that my thoughts are not your thoughts, my ways are not your ways. So trust in the Lord.
Can I add something else? Because that's something just came in my spirit. The devil will try to mimic anything that God. We already know that the devil is a mimicker. He tries to copy everything that the Lord does. So if you have thoughts that God is not real, that's the devil just trying to tell you the opposite. He's just trying to tell you he's not real, but you know he is. Like, help me bring this home when they get down there, Coach. But the enemy will try to mimic everything good that God does to make it turn around to make him look good.
I'm going to say, who woke you up this morning? Because it sure wasn't no alarm. But the biggest thing is knowing the difference between the devil voice and God's voice. Coach?
The person that wrote and that question, first of all, great job. But I want you to hear this. If I decide to go to McDonald's right now, I'm going to GPS it. I'm going to follow every direction because I know I'm trying to get to what, everybody? McDonald's. When you're looking for God to not be real, you'll find just that. I want you to hear this again. When you're looking to find God to not be real, you're going to find just that. When you want to know who God is, I am going to wake up every day to look for him until he show himself unto me. See, the moment that you get distracted, come on, you stop seeking him. The moment you get distracted, guess what happened? That the enemy throws something in your way when God already promised us troubled days. See, when you know the word, then you can attach the word to the feeling, which leads to mental health. Because before mental health, there's a thought. Before there's a thought, there's a feeling. And before that feeling comes, it starts with you. So when I created Coach Think, it was because the number one thing to do in life is to what? Think. When you wake up in the morning, you say, I got to go to the restroom. That is a thought. Or you say, I am hungry. That is a thought. So the moment you kids have a thought, I am going to keep seeking God no matter what happens until he reveals himself unto me. When I get up, God, I'm looking for you. When I go to sleep, God, I'm looking for you. And because I know what you've promised me in this world, anything that don't look like what you promised, I know that ain't you. Anything that comes before me that's not what you promised me, I know it's not you. I know there's an act of the enemy. It didn't say it's a final answer. It said it's an act. So when you're seeking God, young people, every day, keep looking for him to show himself to you, because it's hard for a person to show themselves to you when they know you're really not looking. And he's just going to stand there and wait for you. Because knock and the door shall be open. So what doors are you knocking at, and who are you opening the door to? All right, I'm through now.
I wanted to add to that. We have to, even as an adult, I have to renew my mind daily. I have to ask God, Lord, renew my mind. Lord, take this thought away from me. As adults, we don't have it all together. We on the panel, we have great lives, but we still struggle with things. And mental health could be one of the things that we struggle with. So whoever wrote that question, I want to challenge you to ask God to renew your mind daily. Pray and ask God to take those thoughts that you're having away from you and replace those with his thoughts.
Hold on, can I give me 2 minutes? I promise. I know I talk a lot, but I want y'all kids to know this too. By looking up here, and I heard when you just said that, I'm like, wow. She said, we got it. Nice, pretty much. Did y'all, by looking at me, I bet y'all couldn't tell that about 3 weeks ago, I no longer have a job right now. By hearing the way I respond. Ain't that right, Miss Jackie? By hearing my response, right? Kids, I want y'all to know something. In the midst of me crying at night times, when I go run, begging God to just keep showing up, I keep waking up. And I keep going because I keep creating. See, when I created Coach Thing, now God is saying, you made him, now walk in it. So I want y'all to know, kids, that I'm sitting right here right now walking still to make this guy that God gave me in a dream come to reality. And it don't feel good. I can, let me tell you, it don't feel good. I miss sleep sometimes, so to speak. But then when that alarm come up, I say, you got another shot. And I realize that every single day that I get up, I got a shot to fix this with God. I'm not looking for nothing else but God to reveal himself unto me. Because when the doors fly open, man, when I tell you I'm running, rolling, and sprinting at the same time. So kids, when you're looking for God, expect him to come even when you're hurting. Because I'm hurting, I'm expecting something. I don't need but one yes. All right.
I want to say this. When you get blessed with anything, don't think that, oh, I grind for it. Don't give yourself the credit. My question is, where is God's part in it? Where his credit at? Where do he get to shine? Where do his light shine at? God needs credit also. Because he woke you up and he keeps blessing you each and every day. So give God credit. Let him come into your life. Accept him as Lord and Savior.
I want to, whoever answered that question, I want you to feed your spirit, which means affirmation, right? My mom, she does affirmations all the time. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell a little joke. For college, she always get me affirmation words, always. I am beautiful, I am kind, I am handsome. Because once you start feeding your spirit negative, your mind, you're going to think, oh yeah, I got to do something. All right, so I want you to feed your spirit with positive affirmation, not negative, positive.
So just to piggyback on everything that they just said with great comments. As I heard the question, it took me back to a devotional I was reading earlier this week. I think this is a question that a lot of people have growing up in their life. Um, if it's a God, why do bad things happen to good people? Why do I have to deal with mental issues? Why is that person dealing with that? And we talk about scripture, and Pastor say you can find any answer to any question in scripture. And the answer in the scripture, Jesus tells us that we're gonna have troubles in this world. So that's how you know it's a God. Because he don't sell you no dreams. He don't say everything's gonna be great. You're not gonna have no issues. If you follow me, if you believe in me, that everything's gonna be perfect and you won't have no troubles and everything. He says you are gonna have troubles in this world. But he also tells you that I'm here to comfort you for those troubles. I'm here to guide you through those troubles. I'm here to give you strength within those struggles. I'm here to lead you. I'm here to put people in your way to help you get through this. So he tells you you're gonna have these things. But he also tells you how he can help you with these things. So going back to what Coach Think said, when you have those troubles, who do you seek? because he's telling you to seek me because you're gonna have these troubles. We can take it back to Adam and Eve. I don't want to take it back there with you today, but that's the start of all this. But as long as we live in these bodies in this world, there are gonna be troubles. But he also tells you that I'm here for you. If you come to me when these troubles happen, I got you. And that's in scripture, and that's how you apply it to that thought process of if it's a God, how does bad things happen? He tell you it's gonna be bad things, but he tell you that I got you.
In this particular season, just want to piggyback of what everybody has said is that the biggest and the weakest thing that's starting to fall to the enemy is our mindsets. And when I do my daily devotionals as well, I think it was one that I was doing the other week, and it said that I didn't give you the spirit of fear, but I gave you love, power, and of a sound mind. And that's important because sound mind means good sense. So that feeds into the discernment part, and we have to know what to respond to and what not to respond to. So those were all excellent responses. So we got to make sure that we protect our mindset if nothing else. Our heart is no good if our mindset isn't right. Our body's no good if our mindset isn't right. We have to have the mindset. We have to motivate ourselves if nobody else is there to do it. So those were good responses. Is there anybody else that wants to speak from the floor? All righty, we'll move on to the next question that they had. Okay, so this one reads, how was college life? Was it worth the time? And after, did you love the experience or did you not like the experience? So what we'll do with this portion is we'll go from left to right.
Can you read it one more time? How was college?
How was college life? Was it worth the time? And after, did you love the experience or did you not like the experience?
Okay, I played college football and baseball at Alabama State University, both sports. Thought my life was gonna be perfect because I had sports. College probably was the worst time of my life, but it was the best time of my life because it taught me something. It taught me that life really is real and life gets hard at times. I want y'all to know I graduated high school with a 1.9 GPA, and for y'all to know, they're giving that away if you sign your name on a sheet of paper. They give away a 1.9. I wound up graduating with an undergrad in rehabilitation service, and I got a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. Was it hard? Absolutely. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Were there rough days? Absolutely. Were there beautiful days? Absolutely. So what I'm saying is no matter what you do, it's almost like saying that choice is gonna be hard. You're gonna have hard days if you do it, and you're gonna have hard days if you don't. I had to make a choice. Do I want my hard days to be on the good side, or do I want my hard days to be on the bad side? And that was a choice that you got to make every single day because mom and daddy, grandma, auntie, little cousin, auntie, them, they're not waking you up in the morning anymore. They're not tapping your shoulder saying, go brush your teeth. So if you want what you say you want out of this life with God, it's going to be hard and it's going to be worth it. So I'm here to tell you, it's going to be hard and it's going to be worth it. But choose your heart.
If you don't mind, repeat the questions.
No problem. How was the college life? Was it worth the time? And after, did you love the experience or did you not like the experience?
Well, since I'm still in college, I must love it. But nowadays in college, where I go to school, they say college is what you make it. If you sit at home and don't do nothing, then it's gonna be boring. It's a thing called networking. If you don't open your mouth, they don't know you, right? The people that come in and look for your resumes or something like that, you have to go to them. They're not looking for you, right? So you have to, if you want your life to be successful, you have to make it successful. You can't let somebody make college for you, if that makes sense. You have to go out and put the pieces together in your life. Go ahead, Jay.
And before you speak, high schooler, serious stuff. She said a great word. She said successful. And I want you kids to know this. I'm telling you this to your face, adults, same thing. Success have already chosen the person they want. Listen to me clearly. You don't choose success. It has already made its choice. I'm gonna choose that kid that's gonna wake up and realize life is hard and gonna keep pushing through. I'm gonna put my time to that person that serve others, that don't look at moments of getting better as something negative. Success done chose this person. So for you that want success, it didn't start or it won't start when you get to college or graduate high school. It starts now. So when you get up every single day, if you want success, change your ways, change your thoughts, and then things will change for you. Success done chose. So you better choose. That's the Amber Alert, ain't it? It's all right. Go ahead, Jay.
Even though I'm still in high school, I want to speak of some stuff that I know of
Come on
knowledge.
now.
So I want to pick up right here where I had a dream. When I get out of high school, my goal is to be a mortician, just put it like that. So I know in order to do that, I have to get licensed. Like you have to get a funeral license for one for being a director, and number two, you have to get a license of being an embalmer. So you can't get to this point in life where you want to give up, because I know some of y'all have something in life that you want to do. So you can't get to a point where you say, "Oh man, I come this far to turn around now." So you can't give up. So my goal is after high school, and it's coming fast. So when you get in high school, it's like that. And you're gonna graduate in no time. And you're gonna be thankful for one, because you got your diploma that paid off. But the job still ain't done. There's still more work to do. So you still gotta achieve the next step that you dreamed of. If you have something that you wanna do, I know I do. So you still have to go and do the next step, which is college. And that's going to be hard, like Coach Sting said. But what can you do to overcome that? You might have a room with people like in your dorm. And I know some people, I have heard it, that when they had a relationship or they had to share a room with somebody, there would come a time where they said, "Oh, mama," they would call their parents, they would call home to say, "Oh, I don't want to be here. Oh, this person, they weird," all of that stuff. But guess what? It's about the relationship you have to make. The relationship you have to make. Will you make the relationship instead of talking down on that person? Because guess what? You don't know what they're going through. You don't know how they feel. You don't know what it took for them to get there. So I tell you this, get connection, make the connection with your peers.
Good. So I took a non-traditional route and then I got back on traditional. So I actually did not finish high school. I actually dropped out in the 11th grade and I got my GED. And when I got my GED, I went straight to the military and I used my military benefits to start in college. So I went to college online. Was it worth it? Yes. Like Coach Stink said, was it hard? Yes. But I had to realize that what I wanted for myself, not thinking for myself at that time, I had to think about my future, my children, my family. Like, what did I want to make myself so I can be successful for them? So at this age, and I want to say this too, this might not be popular, but I know college is not for everybody. Some people might want to go get a trade, go to Trinum, go to Wallace, get the free resources that community offers you. Go get a welding certificate, go get a CNA license, go get those things. Everybody does not want to go to a four-year university, and that's okay. Don't let anybody shame you or make you feel bad for not wanting to go to college. And you go to college, that's great as well. I'm sitting here, got a GED, but I'm in a doctoral program right now, not because I have to be in it. I want to show the people who come behind me who have GEDs that it's possible. I'm not going to get another job with this EDD. I just want to get it so I can let other people know that got GEDs that you can do whatever you want. Yeah, whatever you put your mind to. But college isn't for everybody. Trade schools are out there; they're free. And sometimes, like during COVID, some electricians made more than people who have four-year degrees.
Come on now.
And not saying anything about four-year degrees, but there's no shame in the 2-year certificate program either.
And to add to that too, when it's hard, guys, make sure y'all do y'all research. Because just like she said, there are resources out there that are free. Again, although I'm not working at the Elmore County Family Resource Center anymore, there are resources there that can benefit your life. And they'll help you get into that 2-year college, and they can get you with the job readiness training. And there is prevention and partnerships. If you want to prevent some things from happening in your life, open your mouth and build partnerships, like my friend said. But it's on you. So you choose. You choose.
One thing that I've learned is that if you want to be successful, you're going to have to ask questions. That you never know who's connected to who, and that's why it's important for when you surround yourself with people, you always want to surround yourself with the good people. Now, we all know that we are to love everybody, but sometimes you can love a person from a distance. So just back off of them if they're not reciprocating the same energy that you're reciprocating. If you're wanting to do more with your life and they're like, oh, well, girl, you can't do that, or man, you can't do that, be mindful of the response that is given when you initiate an idea. That's the main goal in success. So we're going to go with another question out the box.
Add something to that real quick.
Yes, you can.
And if you have friends that you tell them idea or a dream that you have and they shoot you down, get you another friend. If you have a friend that don't believe in your dreams or believe that you can do what you say that you want to do, get you another friend. Now you're gonna have friends that challenge you, like, hey, you sure you want to do that? I know your work ethic. Like, are you sure? You're gonna have those healthy, challenging friends, but you have a friend that's really like, girl, you can't do that. Look at what you did, X, Y, and Z. If you have friends that always bringing up your past and bringing up negative things about you, get you some new friends.
Okay, y'all asking some good questions. This one is going to be, and we're going to start with Miss Ashley this time. But this one is going, the first question that they had is, what do you do if you get a bad grade on the test? And the second question will be, how did you handle bullies?
So y'all know I kind of got my GED, so I really didn't care about bad grades at that time. But don't be like me, be definitely better than I was. A C was great for me in high school. I know everybody else have probably a different answer, but how I would handle a bad grade, how I would tell my daughter now to handle a bad grade is accept the bad grade if you have it, and ask yourself, what did I do or what did I do to get this grade? If you know you studied for the test the day before, the morning before, and you made a C, then you just gotta be like, that's my fault. I made a decision not to study. I'm gonna accept my C. But if you know you tried hard and maybe sometimes your teacher overlooked mistakes and she don't grade things right, respectfully go to your teacher and say, Miss So-and-so, I know I did great on this. I checked my work and this answer is right. I think teachers, I'm not in the teaching setting, but I know teachers respect students that come to them respectfully and ask questions and advocate for themselves. You have to be an advocate for yourself. Nobody else, your parents not in the classroom with you, you have to advocate, even in life, not even in classroom, you have to advocate for yourself. You have to be a person that knows how to speak up for yourself, because if you don't, nobody else is gonna do it for you. How I handle bullies, I just ignored them. I was always a strong-minded individual, so I ignored bullies. And my daughter is the opposite. She's not as strong-minded as I was in the area, and I always tell her, you have to ignore bullies because they're bullying you because you have something that they don't have. So they're bullying you because they see something in you that they don't see in themselves, so they're trying to get you down to their level. So pray for them for one, ignore them for two, and eventually you have to stand up to them as well, because if you don't put your foot down with a bully, they're going to keep on bullying. They're going to keep on not instigating or fight or anything. Like, look, hey, you tapped me on my shoulder, you stepped on my foot too many times, I'm going to need you to stop. So you can respectfully stand up for yourself without provoking anything. I think that's a major thing in this culture. Everything escalates really, really fast, and you have to be the one to kind of de-escalate situations. So I'll hush, but I just want y'all to know, stand up for yourself for one, advocate for yourself for two, pray for the bullies, and just be who you're gonna be regardless of how they try to make you feel about yourself.
My question is, how many of y'all is it still in middle school? Middle school, all high school, middle school? Okay, I got a word for you. I had a coach basketball coach. I was in 7th grade, and he was talking to the team, trying to encourage us. And he always said, if you can't keep a seat average in middle school, what makes you think you can do it in high school? So in school, middle school, I always had a high C. I had probably like 2 Bs, but English was not my best subject. So in English, I always had a high C, like a 76, 77, which, okay, that's all right. But I always wanted to be an AB student. But I was cool with that. But I come again to say, middle school people, I have a word for you. When you get into high school, to me now, it's basically all the stuff. Now, don't tell nobody I told you this, just stay right here. Basically, everything you learned in middle school is just a repeated stuff that you're going to learn in high school. So it's going to be easier. So I tell you this, I want to encourage you that your grades will go up higher. You will make A's, B's. You will no longer make C's. So I encourage you all to study. You have to study. Because when you fail a test, it's because you ain't studied. And you question yourself, I failed. And somebody else beside you is bragging because they made a high A or a high B and you had the bad grade. It's not because they're more smarter than you. Because guess what? We all are human beings. We all are humankind. Mistakes come. But what are you going to do? What's your next step to become the better person, to better that grade, and to think to yourself, I can do it. You talk to yourself, I can do it. And I'll tell you about bullies. About bullies, I overcome that. Even when you're getting bullied, if you want to say something back, my mom always told me stand up for yourself. You can say something back, but you got to know how to say it. You got to know how to walk with it. You got to know how to talk. You don't have to put your hand on people. You don't have to cause fights. You don't have to do that. Because guess what? God has something in store for the bullies. So it's okay for you to walk. And guess what? It's school, you got counselors. You got peer helpers. That's why they got leaders in school to talk to people that go through things for they can help you out. So when you get bullied, you tell them, God got something in store for you.
For the bad grades, I was a visual learner. I was terrible at math. So I used to ask my math teacher, can I see my test? And I used to sit beside her and say, can you show me what I did wrong? And she'll show me. So I go home, and I also had my mom back there. And I remember long division. My mama showed me the old school way with long division. And I did long division, got the same answer as the teacher. And she was like, this the wrong way. Don't let nobody, if you got the right answer, don't let nobody tell you it's the wrong way. We can do two different things and get the same correct answer, right? So I would say if you're a visual learner, if if you're a visual learner, go back and check your work. Now with the bullies, y'all won't believe it, but it's some bullies in college. But let me tell you one thing. You bully me, you reap what you sow. So if you plant a bad seed, your harvest gonna have to come up a bad harvest. That's all I'm saying.
Man, that's good. And I'm going to piggyback right there off the first part. For real, what she stated, because that was really what I was going to go with it. There are more than one way to get an answer. 8 plus 2 is what? 8 plus 2 is what? I'm going to challenge you kids to talk this time. 8 plus 2 is what? 9 plus 1 is what? 11 minus 1 is what? 6 plus 4 is what? Okay, I'm going to stop there. I don't know no more. But however, 5 plus 5, that's the one we saw in the paper, right? But I want y'all to see what she just said, because there are certain ways to get an answer. But what we can't do is go back and do the same thing and expect a better test score. So if you made a lower test score, then guess what? We're going to go a new route to get a new result. Now, as for that bully, remember this. Hurt people do what? Hurt people. Say it again. Hurt people hurt people. So when someone is trying to cause hurt on you, there is something about them that is actually hurt. It has been proven 100% of the time, because they act out of anger. They're frustrated with their life or a situation, or better yet, you may just look better than them, and they don't like that either. You may talk better than them. They don't like that. Someone that like you, they like them. So what I'm saying, hurt people. And I found this to work too. When they started the bully, just start screaming out loud. I said, chill out. I done asked you 5 times to stop bothering me. See, because what happens is a lot of the times when our kids get bullied, y'all get quiet. Baby, I'm making all kind of noise. Leave me alone. I'm finna tell the teacher on you. But then you see how bullying turned to laughter. Did you see how fast that happened? It's simply because you made a choice to do something different to get a different result. You may bully me today, but I'm snitching. You say something to me, I'm telling you, I'm gonna tell on you because that's the right thing to do. Not about it being a thing to do. That is the right thing to do. So you hit me, I am telling the teacher. You talk about me, guess what I'm gonna do? Tell the teacher. So in school they said, don't bother Justin because he's gonna do what? Tell the teacher. See, y'all just learned that. See how fast that was? So bully me you want to. I'm gonna tell the teacher on you.
Coach Think, I'm sorry. Talk about the stitches. Snitches get stitches.
Oh,
debunk that.
Come on, snitches get stitches. What is that? What is a snitch? What is a snitch? Is a snitch a person that tell the truth? That's what you're telling me? A person that tell the truth is a snitch. God, you are a snitch. Because you tell the truth. So that right there is not real because half the time the people that's bothering you, they don't really want to fight you. They don't really want to bother you to get stitches. They want to scare you. And that word fear, they want to put fear in you. And I'm here to debunk that right now. Fear stands for this. Zig Ziglar said this. He said fear stands for false evidence appearing real. Fear ain't, it's not real. And there's a guy, that's a big dude that I believe in to say, he don't give us the spirit of fear. So the closer you get to him, fear just starts to go over there somewhere anyway. So kids, don't allow a person to bully you by bullying you saying snitches get stitches. No, we're going to talk about this. I'm telling the teacher. You get them some stitches. I'm finna tell on you. So don't be afraid to tell the truth, guys. The truth shall set you free.
Those were excellent responses. The time has come where we must end, but I can't make a promise, but I'm going to try my best for us to do this again because I feel like this was needed from people that came from different areas. It's not about how you get there, it's just the fact that you get there. So don't worry about the journey because the journey is going to do what it wants to do. But as long as you get to your end game, that's the only thing that matters. So we have y'all's questions. We do want to take the time to thank each panelist for coming out. Y'all could have been doing anything else. Can we give them a hand? Very, very good. So at this time, we're going to turn it over to our youth pastor and give his closing remarks and go from there.
Okay, we're gonna get everybody back over here. Once we get everybody back over here, we'll close up. So I want to thank the panelists. Great answers. Thank you for the questions, great questions. And so with that being said, I know some questions that we didn't get to, but we're going to get to those questions in Children's Church. So believe me, those questions will get answered. Also, Jackie said, I think y'all had something like this a couple of weeks ago or something like that. So we're going to try to, so we're going to try to do this more often. We're not going to just wait on the conference to have something like this. I think it was I enjoyed the questions and enjoyed the answers and the panelists. So we're going to try to do this more often. We're not going to wait the next year.